Guys, there's been a huge misunderstanding. First though, if you don't care about any of that, here's a timestamp where I begin talking about my top TCG singles to pick up in the modern Pokemon era. And if you're willing to watch the first few minutes, I promise you won't be disappointed. So last week I uploaded this video and it performed really well. And by that, I mean it was my most watched video, which, okay, fine, wasn't really that high of a bar to begin with. But after some time, I think I started to see why it was performing as well as it did. I made a video attacking scalpers. And I titled that video, Please Don't Invest in Pokemon Cards. And if you didn't watch that other video, you're probably like, Aldo, what the f are you talking about? The name of this video is literally telling investors to buy Pokemon cards. I promise I'll explain in a second. But first, this is what people had to say of that other video.
No.
Okay. Fair. But I'd appreciate if you could elaborate more.
I've invested in Pokemon cards and made around 1.3 thousand over the years I've been collecting, so you're wrong. This video is just flat out bad and completely not true. Pokemon cards are a great thing to invest in. I have seen one go up $100 that I own.
That last person has a point. The video was kind of trash. But seriously, at this point I'm thinking to myself, what are these people even talking about? Did they even watch the video? But then, it all came together when I got this comment.
Man's had no life, lol.
But then, it all came together when I got this comment. You seem to be totally confused between scalpers and investors. Buying something to instantly flip it for profit is not investing. If you are saying you have a problem with people buying product and holding it for 5 to 10 years, then I don't really understand why. Nope, no problem with people buying product if they wanted to hold on to it. I think that's a reasonable choice, and to your point, is what investing actually is. Scalpers operate under the guise of investing, which is why I added those quotes to the title. That said, maybe in the actual body of the video, I could have clarified that better. Thanks for the comment. Got it. Thought you put it in quotation marks because most people think investing in Pokemon isn't actually a thing and a waste of money. That makes a lot of sense. And now I'm a clown for not understanding that initial disconnect any sooner. But honestly, knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have changed anything because it got a lot of people to click on the video. And gotta take what you can get. In all seriousness, I agree with some of the commenters. Actually investing in Pokemon product is not a bad option at all. And that's on me for not being clear about my stance in the prior video. If you buy card singles or sealed product to hold on to for long periods of time, then to me that shows that you have a fundamental faith in the Pokemon franchise's growth as a whole, and ultimately have respect for the hobby. If you're scalping, all you're doing is taking advantage of the immediate demand from the people who actually care enough about the hobby to buy the product that you selfishly took for yourself. And you also have no respect for the people and children that are the foundation of this hobby if you're trying to nickel and dime them for some product that they should be able to get $20 cheaper at Target. And that's saying something because it's f***ing Target. I do want to make a very clear distinction that even though I think true investing in Pokemon product is not a bad idea, I still stand by what I said in my previous video. And that is that I do believe there are safer and more effective ways to make money. For the record, I do own a collection of singles and even a little bit of sealed product, like this Evolving Skies booster box. But even though I expect this product to appreciate in value in the future, I also just like Pokemon. It's not the basket I would recommend someone put all their eggs into. I wouldn't recommend that with any investment. But if you like Pokemon, you understand it, and you want to diversify your portfolio, then absolutely you have my support. And so with all of that behind us, let's jump into what I think are the top 5 modern Pokemon cards that Pokemon investors should keep an eye out for. Coming in at number 5, this one is a very, very recent one, Pikachu with a gray felt hat. I talked about it in my previous video, but this card is essentially the result of a collaboration between the Pokemon Center and the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. It was a promotional item, so you'd get it by either visiting that museum in Amsterdam, which, let's be honest, is pretty much impossible for most of us, or purchasing an associated product from the Pokemon Center. That's how I managed to get this one. Initially, I didn't think it was going to be too hard to get, but long story short, there wasn't as much supply as I thought there'd be, It's also very reminiscent of the Japanese Munch promos from Sun and Moon era, the most expensive of which is the Mimikyu, going for around a few $1,000s. That, though, was back in 2016, I believe, so it's obviously way too early to tell for this one, but I love the artwork, and like I said, the demand is certainly there, supply is not, so I absolutely had to put it on this list. For reference, I was at a collector's expo literally just earlier today, and the one vendor I saw that had a couple of these was selling them for about $150. And it's not like we're getting more of these, so do with that information what you will. I'll be completely honest, while I think this card is absolutely stunning, no doubt, I'm not entirely crazy for the way they portrayed Rayquaza in this artwork. My opinion aside though, Rayquaza as a Pokemon was and will continue to be a staple in the Pokemon franchise, and the price certainly reflects that. So I don't have an issue recommending someone to pick this up if they're looking for something to hold on to long term. Funny story with this one though, my girlfriend is obsessed with buying Evolving Skies packs. I don't know what it is. Naturally, they're the most expensive modern packs at the local card shop, but I guess she sees the high sticker price and automatically must want to buy them. Without fail, every time we visit and they are in stock, she will get them, and honestly, I was pretty against it. I'm not a stranger to Evolving Cries, so I'd always tell her to either save that money or put it toward buying a larger quantity of a different set, but she always refused. Sure enough, way sooner than she should have, in my opinion, she managed to pull this one. So shout out to her, she's the best. I know she's gonna be my third viewer on this video, and that's only because I'm the first two. This Giratina alt art is absolutely bonkers. It depicts Giratina just vibing in what is most likely the distortion world in the background, and we've seen how the distortion world looks like in Pokemon Platinum all those years ago, or even most recently in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Obviously, this looks nothing like the distortion world that we were familiar with, and I absolutely love that. While I don't think they were necessarily trying to go for this, I like to believe that the illustrator wanted to portray the distortion world as something completely foreign to us. It's not supposed to be recognizable. It's consistently inconsistent, and this artwork is the perfect representation of that. Major props to the illustrator. I was very fortunate to be able to pull this card myself from the one and only Lost Origins ETB that I ever had to purchase. I really had no business pulling this card as quickly as I did, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Umbreon coming in at the number 2 spot. I bet you guys didn't see that one coming. For those that may not be familiar, this card is, I believe, the most expensive modern card, reaching a height of around $650 ungraded earlier this year. That has since gone down and is about $550 at this point. Obviously, that's still nothing to scoff at. Just handling this card is stressful enough. I keep all of these sleeved and in top loaders inside a top loader binder, but wanted to take them out of their top loaders at least so you could see the sparkle and texture as best you can. Very beautiful card, and definitely worthy of being king of the modern era. I know what you're thinking. This guy is a massive idiot, considering the last 3 cards are literally right now going for more than this Gengar. And you're totally right. I put this card at number 1 because I think the artwork is phenomenal. This is, I think, my favorite card from Sword and Shield, so I'm overriding it into the number 1 spot. It's also the only card on this list that in November of 2023 has seen a market increase in price over the last year, despite all the economic stuff that has been going on. So think student loan payments resuming, potential government shutdowns, all that good stuff. This Gengar doesn't care about any of that and has been pretty steady in that regard. But like I said, the artwork is what takes the cake. For me personally, I'm a big fan of the color palette, which is something that honestly didn't do it for me with the Umbreon. The Umbreon is also a beautiful card in its own right, but the Gengar really stands out to me with these colors, which I really enjoy. I also love the attention to detail with all these berries that are being consumed, and my favorite detail is its throat, which might seem a little familiar. It's actually the darkness energy symbol up on the top right of the card, which is very ironic considering how colorful this card is. But that's all the time I have for this video. I had a lot of fun showing you guys a piece of my collection that I personally think will do really well from a value perspective. Curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, and feel free to tell me how ridiculous you think I am for having Gengar be my #1 choice. I don't think you'll change my mind, but I'm always excited to see what you guys think, so let me know. And as usual, I appreciate you guys for watching, and make sure to take it easy.